Nobody believes in you right now, and you need to sit with that. Let it sting. Let it piss you off, but don't let it break you. Instead, let it be the fire that burns under your feet. Let it be the fuel that gets you out of bed earlier, that pushes you harder, that makes you relentless. Because here's the truth. When no one believes in you, you've got nothing to lose. And when you've got nothing to lose, you become dangerous. People are watching, whether they admit it or not. Even the ones who doubt you are waiting to see if you'll prove them wrong or if you'll fold like they expected. Every step you take, every time you show up, you're making them eat their words. But here's the secret. They won't admit it right away. They'll stay silent. They'll pretend they're not impressed. That's because people hate to be wrong. They hate to admit they underestimated you. You need to be okay with being underestimated. You need to embrace it. There's power in being the underdog because no one sees you coming. When people count you out, they stop paying attention. They think they've got you figured out. That's when you strike. That's when you double down. That's when you go to work while they sleep. And let me tell you something about the doubters, the people who don't believe in you. Most of them don't believe in themselves either. Their disbelief in you is a reflection of their own insecurities, their own fears, their own failures. They see you trying to rise, and it scares them because it reminds them of all the times they didn't try. Don't take their doubt personally. It's not about you. It's about them. But here's where most people screw up. They let the doubt get in their head. They start to believe it. They let other people's lack of belief become their own. That's the ultimate failure. When you let someone else's opinion dictate your effort, when you let their disbelief become your excuse to quit, don't let that happen. Nobody owes you belief. Nobody owes you encouragement. Nobody owes you anything. This is your life. And if you want people to believe in you, you've got to show them you're worth believing in. And if they don't believe, keep going anyway, because belief is a byproduct of proof. You don't need their belief in the beginning. You don't need their validation or their applause. What you need is to keep showing up, to stay in the fight long enough to turn your effort into results, because when the results come, the doubters disappear. Suddenly, the people who said you couldn't do it are the ones asking you how you did it. But here's the catch. You don't do it for them. You don't grind. You don't sacrifice. You don't push yourself just to prove a point to someone else. You do it for you, because you deserve to see what you're capable of. You deserve to live up to your potential. And the only way to do that is to keep going, even when nobody's clapping for you. The truth is, nobody is going to believe in you until you believe in yourself. That belief is the foundation. It's the starting point. And you build it by keeping the promises you make to yourself. You build it by showing up when you don't feel like it. You build it by doing the work when no one's watching, when there's no reward, when there's no recognition. Self-belief isn't some magic feeling that appears out of nowhere. It's earned through discipline. It's forged in the fire of your effort. Every time you push past your limits, every time you refuse to quit, every time you silence that little voice in your head telling you to take it easy, you're building belief. Brick by brick, rep by rep, step by step. And once you have that belief in yourself, once you know you can rely on yourself, everything changes. You don't need anyone else's approval. You don't need anyone to tell you you're doing a good job. You don't need the applause, the likes, the recognition, because you've already proven it to yourself. And let me tell you something else. When you believe in yourself, people can feel it. They might not say it out loud, but they'll see it in the way you carry yourself. They'll see it in the way you show up, the way you perform, the way you handle setbacks. They'll feel that unshakable confidence, and that's when their belief starts to shift. But here's the thing. By the time they start believing, it won't even matter anymore, because you'll have already made it. You'll have already built the habits, the discipline, the results that don't need anyone's validation. Their belief will just be an afterthought, a confirmation of what you already knew. So if nobody believes in you right now, good. That's your edge. That's your advantage. Use it to fuel you. Use it to push harder, to dig deeper. to keep going when most people would quit. Let their doubt be the background noise to your grind. Nobody believes in you, and it's not because the world is unfair. It's not because people are out to get you or because you've been dealt a bad hand. It's because you haven't given them a reason to believe. People don't believe in words. They believe in action. And if they don't see the action, if they don't see the results, why the hell should they believe in you? Let's be real here. Most of the time, the reason no one believes in you is because you haven't earned it. You haven't proven yourself. You haven't done the work. You might think you deserve their belief, their support, their validation, but what have you really done to earn it? You've got dreams. Good for you. Everyone does. You've got potential. That's great, but potential means nothing without execution. People don't care about your plans. They don't care about your excuses. They don't care about how bad you want something. They care about results. They care about consistency. They care about whether or not you've got the discipline to show up day after day and actually deliver. You talk too much. That's one of the biggest problems. You tell everyone what you're going to do, how you're going to change, what your next big move is. But where's the follow-through? People get tired of hearing the same story over and over again with no action behind it. You're making promises you don't keep. You're saying things you don't back up. And every time you do that, you're giving people another reason not to believe in you. Stop talking about it. Start being about it. Stop announcing your plans and start letting your results do the talking. People respect action. They respect hustle. They respect someone who's willing to put their head down and grind without needing constant attention or validation. Another reason no one believes in you? You lack consistency. You show up when it's convenient, when it's easy, when you feel motivated, but the second things get hard, you disappear. People notice that. They see when you're hot and cold, when you're all in one day and MIA the next. And let me tell you something, inconsistency screams, I'm not serious. Belief is built through repetition. It's built through showing up again and again, no matter what. It's built through doing the work when you're tired, when you're busy, when you don't feel like it. If you want people to believe in you, you got to prove that you can stick with it, that you're not just in this for the short term, but for the long haul. You break promises to others, yes, but even worse, to yourself. And when people see that you don't even keep your word to yourself, why would they believe in you? Every time you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through, you're not just losing their trust, you're destroying your own. You're teaching yourself that your word doesn't mean anything. Stop making empty promises. Stop telling yourself that this time will be different if you're not willing to back it up with action. If you say you're going to do something, do it. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how long it takes, no matter how many obstacles get in your way, your word has to mean something. Here's the brutal truth. You give up too often. You quit when it gets uncomfortable. You bail when you don't see results right away. You tell yourself it's not worth it, that it's too hard, that maybe it wasn't meant to be. And you expect people to believe in you when you can't even push through the tough times? Get real. Nobody wants to bet on someone who folds under pressure. Nobody wants to support someone who's constantly looking for the exit. If you want people to believe in you, you've got to show them that you're relentless. That no matter how many times you get knocked down, you'll get back up. That no matter how hard it gets, you won't quit. Here's the thing. Belief isn't a right. It's something you earn. It's something you build over time through your actions, your habits, your consistency. You don't get to demand it. You don't get to complain when you don't have it. You just put your head down and do the work until you prove them wrong. The good news? This is all in your control. If no one believes in you right now, that doesn't mean they never will. It just means you've got some work to do. It means you need to stop blaming them and start looking at yourself. Are you talking too much and doing too little? Are you breaking promises? Are you inconsistent? Are you giving up too easily? Be honest with yourself. Take ownership of your actions. Because the moment you stop making excuses and start holding yourself accountable, things will start to change.